Niles loves football, and he really loves Patrick Mahomes. And Niles truly believes that he is going to grow up, and he knows, Niles really is on board with this. He knows that Kansas City has to rename their football team. So we just called him Kansas City in our house. And Kansas City, he's going to grow up, and he's going to replace Pat Mahomes at quarterback for Kansas City. He is completely convinced that this is his destiny in life. All right. Now, I look like this. Okay, this is me. And Niles' dad is about an inch taller than me. He's kind of a stocky guy, but he's only an inch taller than me. All right. Now, Niles practices football every day. But how many of you think? And Niles, he can run. He plays baseball too. He can run to first base in around a minute. Okay? How many of you think Niles is going to replace Pat Mahomes playing football for Kansas City? All right. So we got two believers. We got a lot of non-believers. How many of you think that I tell Niles routinely his dream is not going to come true? You think I tell him? No, every time he asks his dad to go out in the front yard and play football with him and throw that ball back and forth, even though I really worry about him playing too much football because I love his brain. He's got a great brain. He's a funny kid. I play with him, right? Why do I do that? You get a sticker if you answer. Why do I do it?
Keep pushing himself.
Right. Keep pushing himself? Why?
To encourage him.
To encourage him. Why else?
Keep his hopes up.
To keep his hopes up. Well, right, because I want him to have as hard of a fall as possible. Right, yeah. Why else? Right, because I want Niles to believe that he's a worthy person who can do the things he wants to do, right? And because I want him to accomplish something, right? I want him to have dreams. And if I start telling him when he's 8 that it's very unrealistic he's going to be an NFL player, then what he'll start doing is putting himself in a box, right? Putting himself in a box. So the reason I'm telling you that story is because when I graduated, I grew up in Boise. I know we all hate Boise, like you hate Boise, it's fine, I get it, I know it, I'm here. I grew up in Boise, and the first thing I did out of high school was I went to Treasure Valley Community College. And I only went for 2 quarters, and then I dropped out. And I got a job at the Lady Foot Locker, and I saved up all my money to buy a Mazda 323, no power steering, no AC. Okay? And my parents were real freaked out that I was not going to graduate from college. And then I lived in my bedroom with my really great Mazda 323, and I went to Boise State, and I scrabbled and scrapped my way through college on Pell Grants, and I graduated from Boise State. And it was really hard, and I barely made it. And about that time, I started saying what I really want to be is a professor. And guess what do you think people said?
No
Yeah,
way.
for sure. A girl like you with a dad who's a school bus driver, you could 100% be a professor. That's what people like you do. People who start out of junior college, drop out, scrabble and scrap their way through college, live with their parents, go to school like Boise State. That's what you become, a professor. No, they put me in a box. They said that's not for you. So, I started figuring it out. And a couple weeks ago, I went to class reunion. I won't tell you how many decades ago I graduated. And I saw all those people I went to high school with, who, because I'm from Boise, and there's people from Boise who we don't like. I don't like them either. And they were like, hey, what'd you do with your life? And I said, well, I just barely moved back to Boise. I've been living in Dallas. I have these 2 wonderful, beautiful sons. And I'm now the Frank and Bethany Church Chair of Public Affairs at Boise State, but I've been living in Dallas, where I was at Southern Methodist University teaching political science, and I was a fellow at the Tower Center, which is a big political center there. And they were like, you did that? And I'm like, yeah, I'm the one sitting in that office. Because you don't know this and you don't care, and who the F cares, right? But being an endowed chair is like it's a really big deal. It's a really big, it's like the top of being a professor, right? You care about as much as my 8-year-old son who's going to be, like, they don't care at all. They just want to know, like, if they can have macaroni and cheese for dinner. But my point to you is that I've heard, I don't know if it's true, that you all, a lot of people like to put you in a box. Okay?
Mhm.
And that a lot of people like me who come in here say a lot of SHIT. I'm not here to do that. Monica's not here to do that. Okay? I want you to have the future that I want Niles to have. Almost makes me cry to think about it. Right? We want you to do the Model UN. I want you to come for this weekend in Boise because I want you to feel about those folks who are going to come that weekend. I want you to come show them who you are. Right? I want your school, I want you to come represent them. I want to show you Boise State. I hope some of you will come and go to Boise State. We're going to leave some admission stuff there. We will help you find the funding because we need you to change that school. We need you to change the university. And you'll have the power to do it. Refuse to get in the box. Just like I did. Okay? It's really corny. You can make fun of me when I leave. I don't really care. Because when it's your 20 years down the road, your 30 years down the road, I want you to talk to somebody who thought you couldn't do it. Marlene Trump, who is the president of Boise State University, she's the first female president of Boise State, told me a story when I was getting hired for this job. She had a job, she comes from a working class family, she's a first generation college student, now she's the president of Boise State. She's changing the culture at Boise State to be a place for everybody. And she worked her way through college by being a waitress at the Village Inn. And when she went all the way through and became a professor, she went back to see the person who was her manager at the Village Inn. And she thought he was going to be happy for her. And she was like, you know, hey, I can't remember his name. Hey, Marty. Hey, it's me, Marlene. Oh, Marlene, what are you doing now? Oh, I just got my PhD. I'm going to be a professor. He said, a what? A professor. A what? Professor. She said she was starting to feel that like shame. He looked at her and he said, I never thought you'd be anything more than a waitress. She keeps that Village Inn name tag on her desk to this day. President of Boise State University. To remind her that she does it for every single person who has people thinking all they'll ever be is a fill in the blank. That's the president of Boise State. That's why Monica and I came here today. Please think about coming to our weekend, to our university, and even if you don't come to us, do not get in the box. Okay?